Hey, so I have my husband Joe here with me today. There are a lot of channels that I've been watching that are a lot of single females. There are some retirement channels that have couples, but maybe they're not filming together, and I just thought it'd be maybe good, maybe helpful to have a perspective from a married couple who are retired now, who are at home full-time together. And so I got a few questions ready for me to ask Joe, for him to respond to, and see how we differ. We are a few years different in age.
I think they can see that.
A few years. So Joe also retired from federal service at about the age of 57, but he went on to have a successful consulting business for the remainder of the time that I was still working and finishing up my career. So we have pretty much retired at about the same time, even though our ages are different. So we have some different perspectives. And, you know, we're not exactly the same people, so we have some different visions of what it might look like. So we're trying to navigate building a great retirement together. So is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. All right, so we're going to start with a few questions. And some of them are light and everyday life, some of them us and a couple, some of them in retirement. So we'll just pick a few. Who adjusted faster to retirement, me or you?
Yeah, I think it was probably me. I think I thought about retiring a lot more and a lot longer than you did. So yeah, I was pretty much ready.
You were ready. Yeah. Who has the harder time slowing down?
That's a good one. That's probably you, I think. And maybe just because you haven't been retired that long, so I displaced my working world with other things. So
yeah,
and they're not fast.
But you have more hobbies than I have.
I have many more hobbies.
Well, because I have zero.
Well, that would take much more than
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. Nerds tend to have more hobbies than non-nerds.
Smart people. All right, who's more likely to get lost without a GPS?
Oh, I think that might be you.
It might be.
It might be you, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, GPS is great, and I love my Garmin, but I mean, I had 50 years there where it was a paper map and memorizing where you're going to go first, and I mean, all the way back to the thing we used to do in the Army for practice, orienteering, where you wander out into the woods with a map. And so, yeah, maybe.
Well, and I think you're more interested in maps, and you retain information about that road. You'll say, well, was it on this road? And I'll say, I don't know, it was over there on that other side of town.
That's true. That's true. That's north and south versus
I do know north and south, but
yeah,
I just don't know. I just don't retain. I don't even know. I still don't know what highway goes up where we are, but let's not say that. Okay. Who's more likely to talk to strangers?
Well, that would probably be me.
Yeah. Even though we're both introverts, but you tend to engage with people just on a regular basis. I don't know if that's because of where you grew up or the time or...
Yeah, I mean, it was a really small rural area, so that's, you know, the growing up experience. I mean, I probably don't interact with strangers on the street like in New York City or something like that, but yeah, just a typical situation, I would probably tend to speak more.
I feel like people are prone, you and your sister, I think people are prone to just talk to you, just start talking to you. I must have that face that's like, don't come here, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, there might be something about that. I all my life, in adulthood, I would be, I still am sometimes, if I'm in a hardware store or any place looking at stuff, people will apparently think I work there. I don't know why that is, but do you know where that is? We spill some soda. Could you mop it up? Well, I don't have a mop. Anyway. Yeah, I think that's true.
All right. Who is more adventurous in trying new things?
That would be my sweet Kim. Yeah. Not Well, and some of that's probably an age thing. I mean, you're considerably younger, and I was probably more adventurous, younger. I did stupid things, and I don't know. I don't know if it's laziness or whatever. But as time's gone on, I've gotten less adventurous.
I think some of it might be age, but some of it is just I don't think you were ever as adventurous as I was, even probably in your 20s or 30s. You don't like extreme sports. You're not interested in jumping from a plane or
without spending a lot of video time on trying to keep it concise. I mean, that might have something to do with the place and the people with which I grew up. It was like logging and mining and those kind of industries. And I don't know, I can remember my dad and granddad and stuff talk about, it's enough adventure or just enough risk getting through the day. So
that's true.
Risk recreation and adrenaline pumping things have never been of particular interest to me.
Yeah, it was fun when you first met my family on the lake, wasn't it?
It was fun. Those were interesting.
Interesting lake times.
Different upbringing, certainly.
Okay, well, those were some light ones, but here's some of us as a couple. Do you think our age difference affects how we each see this season?
Oh, absolutely. We're quite a few years apart, and
I'm 57,
and I'm 72.
Yeah.
The old joke about if I knew I was going to live this long, I'd take better care of myself. I mean, clearly, the point we are in life, as well as we grew up in different periods, and so it affects how we look at the future and we look at our life together.
Like financially, or what we're willing to do, or risk, or.
I think all those things, and some of it, in fairness, is probably just our basic personalities are a little bit different too, regardless of how we had grown up or whatever. So
right. How has the way we spend time together changed since retirement?
Oh, we spend lots more time together, which is good.
He says.
So, no, it is. Sometimes in the middle of the winter, if we're kind of housebound in the snow in Wyoming, a cabin fever can. I think we spend a lot more time together, and we communicate a lot more. I think early in our relationship with a bunch of kids involved and both working and all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I mean, days could probably go by when we didn't have a deep conversation of any sort. And today we have the luxury to be able to get into things and spend a lot of time together and talk.
Yeah. How do we give each other space, and why does that matter?
Well, I mean, we know couples that are kind of, they wear sweatshirts that have the same stuff embroidered on them at Christmas time and things like that.
Which is cute.
And same age, high school sweethearts, they finish each other's sentences and things like that. We're both different people, and we're both very independent, I think. And so we both value a little bit of, not too much, but a little bit of alone time and quiet time. So, my place maybe is out on the back acreage or in the workshop, and you might be trying a new bread recipe or whatever. So we both enjoy time alone too.
Or I might be headed down to Arizona for pool time while you're taking care of the property up there, or I might want to travel with my sister overseas, and you're like, go right ahead.
I'll mow the grass and wait.
Yeah.
I think, I would just add that I think there's a great deal of trust and respect, so it isn't like I ever worry about you either going to the casino and gambling the money away or finding new boyfriends and things like that. So I think both of us there's no insecurity issue.
Right. Yeah. This has been, we've both had other marriages, and those taught us a lot, and we're just more mature, but this has just been the best ever.
Well, if at first you don't succeed.
Try again.
Second time you don't succeed. So yeah.
Okay,
that's
stop.
another video.
That's another video. What's something we've learned about each other in this season?
Yeah. What have we learned about each other? We've learned. Well, I think. Well, we've learned more about each other's interests or lack of interest in things. I mean, for me, well, you'd said for years that you didn't really have any hobbies, and I think you've probably been surprised at how many oddball interests I would drag into. So we've learned that, and we've learned about each other that we both kind of have different natural, life schedules as far between when we want to get up in the morning and when we want to go to bed and all those kind of things. So that's been more learning. You're
more of a night owl, and we always knew that. And I'm more of an early bird, and we always knew that. But we both were required to do this is when work is. And so we both had to get up at a certain time, and then we went to bed at a certain time to be able to get up at a certain time. And we had kids at home, and even after the kids were gone. I mean, I think we just conformed to the schedule that was expected until we didn't have to anymore. And now it's more obvious how different our schedules are.
And that's probably just work. The difference between work and not being employed is the same in a whole lot of areas, from your schedule to the free time you have or don't have and all that. So yeah.
How do we handle it when one of us wants to do something and the other doesn't? Depends on who it is.
So, some people aren't interested in helping change the oil on the tractor. No, that's for sure.
I don't want to. And some people aren't interested in going overseas, although you have said you might with me next year.
Or water skiing, buying a big boat.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think we've learned to give each other a lot of space. Yeah. We don't expect that everything we do the other one wants to do, and
right. And that's okay. I think you taught me that a long time ago, was like, it's okay, Kim, that, I don't want to go do whatever it is you want to do. Just go do it, and I'll see you when you get home. But it was kind of I think early on, and I was younger when we first got married, it was like, well, shouldn't we both want to do all the things? And there was freedom in letting us be different.
Well, and I think that's the important takeaway, I think, is there isn't any feeling like we have to pretend to like something because the other one likes it, and we don't want to disappoint, or we won't have time together if we don't do everything they want to do. And I think that's an important part of the success of our relationship.
Right. All the while knowing that we do have the same values, the same core values, and the same core goals. We want to remain debt-free. We want to, pay attention to relationships and our family and our health and all those things. So it doesn't matter. Each of us might get there differently, but we know which direction we're going. Right. So, yeah. All right. What's something we want to get better at as a couple in this next chapter? I don't know.
Better at. Well, there's always room for improvement, right?
Yeah.
I think we just need to keep stressing the respect and the communication. And
I think in retirement, I think I'd like, I don't know, maybe to see us get better. I think there's always room for better communication. Even though we communicate well, I think you're more apt to just go with the flow and let me do whatever. And I really want to honor you in this season and make sure we're doing things you want to do in the way, but I don't. I think we are vastly different in what we thought it might be. And so I want to get better at understanding how we can come together that way.
Well, that's right. I think we've made some good inroads in the last year or so about being both more receptive to pull out what somebody else wants to do, and as well as being willing to speak. I mean, I think that's something that you've drummed on me about, is don't just, to avoid any possible conflict, just go along. You actually want to hear what I want to do or what I think is smart or whatever. So yeah, I think and I think that's something we probably do need to continue to work on and improve on.
Till we croak.
Well, yeah, probably so. Well, that's just, to me, after failures, successful marriage is, we've said this
Yeah.
before, it's not about 50-50, it's about 100%, 100%, or
Yeah.
110%, 110%.
Yeah.
That's the minimum of making things successful.
That's
If
right.
somebody is being subjugated and in the background, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about life in retirement. So, I don't know if I really want to ask this question. What's something I've handled well in this season, meaning retirement, and what's something I've struggled with?
I think we're talking about you, right?
Yeah.
I think you've struggled with finding your niches and the things that you want to devote your time to. I retired with a long list of, cars I was going to fix up and clocks I was going to repair and radio gear that I was, on and on and on.
Yeah.
And you didn't. Right. So it's easier for me to fill the time, and I think you've had to struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to like, well, what do I really want to do?
Right.
Because we all want meaning in our life of some sort.
Right.
And there's only, YouTube is a wonderful thing to watch, but none of us could handle more than so many hours a day watching YouTube.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. It's interesting, but
I think you've done a good job in including, especially kids and grandkids, into your new life and time, and
yeah. Well, I feel like I've finally kind of gotten off of the brain hamster wheel, and so I think we want to have meaning in our lives. But I think that word is it is evolving for me. What does that look like? It doesn't have to be full-time work, but I do want to be of service somewhere, whether that's to you or to the grandkids or to other people. And you do a good job of that, just with our neighbors and, and the grands and helping people. That's just kind of how you were raised, though. And not that my parents didn't raise me to be helpful, but my dad was out hustling. And I think it was in a much bigger place, and you guys had to be part of a community in the area that you grew up.
Yeah, it was a very small rural area. Kind of antique, stereotypical. I had grandparents that lived a little bit down that side of the road, and grandparents on the other side, and an aunt and uncle here and there. And a small community, so there was that was kind of it took me years after I went to the big city, which really actually wasn't all that big.
It wasn't big enough.
But it took me
more than 300 people.
Well, that's anyway. It was quite an adjustment for a hick from the sticks to go, off into the big city. And
went to the Army and all of these big things. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there was anything wrong with either of our upbringing per se.
No, it was just different.
It's just
different.
And
I think because we talked about this earlier, but because we chose careers that moved us around, we didn't really sit still long enough to become part of one place long term. And so I think that's the adjustment we'll have to figure out next here before too long. So, well, what's one thing we don't miss at all about our working life?
Well, most of our career was with both of us was with different federal agencies. So as you floated up in the food chain in a federal agency, the first thing I don't miss is the political aspects of government service, which seemed to, whether it was because we promoted into higher level jobs or just was a change in the system, I don't miss that. I don't miss up having to be anywhere. When you're retired, unless you make a commitment on your own, you don't have to be anywhere else anybody says you should be, and so that's that freedom is probably the biggest thing that is nice.
I think for me too. I don't want to be on somebody else's schedule. Even when I think about maybe going back to work to do something different, I think, I don't want to be on their schedule. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Even myself, the first little while after I retired the second time from my business, there was probably a little window of time in there where I probably didn't do much of anything on a
Yeah.
daily basis, but then reality sets in, or maybe it's not reality, maybe it's boredom or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh no, I need to get out and do this or
Do
do that.
something. Yeah. Well, what's one thing we do miss?
Well, I think we're retiring fairly comfortably, but I miss the extra money.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we don't have the income that we did, so I miss that to some degree. This is a double-edged sword because on the one hand, we all know we don't want our identity to be what we did at work.
Right.
And I certainly learned after you're not doing that what you did at work anymore. If you need to find another identity
Yeah.
because nobody cares what you did.
That's right. They don't.
So I think that's probably the main, yeah.
Well, what I miss is being part of the bigger, I do miss being part of a bigger mission, a bigger organization. You know, one of the things I've learned about myself is that the first 6 to 12 months of a new job or a new challenge, that's my sweet spot. I love it. I go in, let's get, whereas you are a little bit different.
Right.
That's just the price you have to pay to get to the part where you can kind of sail and be in calm waters more so.
Yeah. Well, I've said several times that, like, my movie hero was George Kennedy in the movie Airport. And he was the cigar chomping old master mechanic that was able to make the 707 get out of the mud and back on the runway.
Yeah.
And I just have always leaned towards, like, well, how do I fix things and make things run? So I'm happier in a steady state. How do I keep the car on the road? And Kim's more for how do I get around the next corner in the track. So you're much more adventurous than
Well, we're just built differently.
Well, that's
but
right.
That's all right. So, all right, how has your definition of a good day changed over time?
Oh, let's see. Well, good days. My definition of a good day. Well, as you get older, sometimes just knowing you woke up in the morning is a good thing to do. I think doing something interesting and being with you and being thankful for all the blessings that we have. That's a good day.
Yeah.
Not many bad days.
There's really not. I mean, that is the one thing for me to remember. There's not many bad days in retirement, really.
Right. I mean, bad things can happen in a moment, but that doesn't necessarily make a bad day.
Right. Right. All right, let's go on to where we live. So I have shared on one of my videos before that we have, and maybe a couple, but we have a little place here in Arizona and we've got one in Wyoming for a bunch of different reasons. Partly there at the end, my career took us to different places, and because Joe had a consulting business, he was able to move around with me. And then when we decided to retire, all of the grandkids, for the most part, were up in Wyoming. So I'm still, not that Joe doesn't love them, but, grandmas typically are just more attached.
Grandmas are.
And so we have our place up there. But we got a small place in Arizona, partly because I had gone back to work and it was in this location, not knowing that I was going to retire so soon, but also because it's a great place to get out of the snow. And for me, it's a great place to go enjoy the pool there. So what is the best thing about living in Wyoming?
Oh, I think for me, the best thing about living in Wyoming is there's only, 575,000 people in the whole state.
In the whole state.
And we live in a really small, very nice, comfortable, secure little town. And we don't even live in town. We live outside of town and several miles. So I think to some degree it reminds me of where I grew up and that small experience or small town experience. So that's, I think, the open spaces and lack of crowding. Yeah, that would be What
And
about
for
you?
me, the best thing is the kids. The grandkids
Well,
are there.
that's right. No, see, I should have.
Yeah.
I should all have the grandkids. I love the grandchildren, all
I
of
know
them,
you do.
and the kids
But it's
too.
different.
But it's
It's
well,
different.
moms and grandmas are
Yeah,
different than
yeah.
dads, I think.
Well, another thing I really like, so I grew up in West Texas, and you didn't really get snow for Christmas. When you were growing up, you probably got snow more than they get now up in Northern California.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
But I really like going and cutting down our own tree. I never got to do that until Wyoming, and Joe does it for me. It's not his favorite part though of doing it, but that's fun. I like to do that. So, what's the best thing about having a place in Arizona?
Well, I when I left, I grew up in northeastern California in the Sierras. When I left, and I ended up in the Mojave Desert, and I spent, and so did Kim. We spent most of our working careers over the years in the Southwest, in western Arizona and southern Nevada and those places. So I came to really appreciate and enjoy the desert. So the warmer weather, the lack of brutal winters, and again the open space are some of the appeals. So
Yeah.
it feels more like home.
Yeah.
Don't ever have to put tire chains on and shovel snow here.
Well, it feels more like home for me too, and part of it is the water options. Just because I grew up, my parents had a lake house, and we always went to the lake, and so even if I don't get on the lake, I love looking at it. And we both don't mind the heat. People think we're crazy when we come down in the summer, but it's like, meh, whatever.
Right.
We like it. So, I don't know if we can answer this one. How do we decide when it's time to switch locations? Oh, switch locations. Yeah. I was thinking, how do we decide when it's time to have one location? But
Well, yeah.
this has only been a year where we're doing the back and forth right now. So.
Yeah. I don't know.
We're not there yet.
It was all of the. I'm probably someone who would never move from where I happen to be unless it was terribly miserable, and that's just me. I tend to be a cave dweller and burrow in. Kim's a lot more adventurous and interested in doing new things. I think that was all taken out of our hands for our working careers because you either to get a promotion or a better job or whatever, we move around the country in federal service, and so I mean there were very few times we had to go anywhere, but we chose to go when an opportunity arose. So that isn't the case now. So here we are, and
well, because back then it was more about, at least for me, what's the job that I'd like to go do versus where is it located? Because I even went to D.C. for a while, and you didn't move back there with me, but you came to visit. But luckily, I wasn't there very long.
Right, that was lucky. Well, yeah, and I over the years, I did not go places that I had opportunities to go just because you had
family commitments.
I had family and other reasons. I didn't want to stray too far from the western states. So anyway, yeah. So how do we decide? I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
We're working on that actually.
Yeah, we are working on that.
And that's the big question: is do we keep trying to maintain two different places, and is the travel back and forth worth it?
Right.
Are we going to pick one? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Well, because we know how blessed we are to have the two places. People don't. Well, it sounds very. I don't even like to say that we have two places, but it's because you are frugal, and because
She means cheap.
no, and because you worked those consulting years, and I mean, so
we inherited a little money from the folks.
Yeah. So anyway, so we'll see what it looks like.
Yeah.
I think it's a struggle right now just to figure it out because we really do. All things being equal, if all the kids would move to Arizona, that's probably what we would do.
That's how
I'm guessing.
Well, I think we were actually just talking about that in the last couple of days. I think as one gets older, there's less and less excitement about shoveling snow, and there's
Yeah.
less and less excitement about doing home repairs. So I think
Right.
just as a matter of natural
Because
course.
we've got 2.5 acres for you to take care of up there.
Right. Not, I mean, we're certainly not affluent enough to have, major domos and
Right.
caretakers taking care of all of our places. So
Right.
as time goes on, I'm sure
We'll have to
we'll be
pick.
downsizing
Yeah.
and picking one place only. And that's
Yeah.
just, I mean, how many people are
I know.
having,
I know. It's almost embarrassing. So anyway.
not embarrassed.
But it is also a place, we actually view it as a savings account. That's
Right.
typically property will increase. And so that's part.
That's true. We're kind of real estate poor. We have more money engaged in houses
That's right.
than we do cash floating around in the bank.
That's right.
But that's all right.
That's all right.
Somebody will always buy a house.
That's right. Okay, let me just ask a few. It says fun and lighthearted questions.
Oh, that's for me.
Yeah. Favorite meal we've had recently?
Oh, you made some glorious pasta
Glorious.
for me. Well, I'm kind of a pasta guy.
Yeah,
so,
you are. Okay.
With steak.
Well, I was going to say, actually, the steak was what was best for me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Who's more likely to start a project and not finish it?
Well, that's a good one. Yeah,
It's
probably Kim.
Because I get excited about something, and then I'm like, it wasn't that good.
I mean, sometimes I take a long time to get done, and other things will come along. But you start.
I'm
things
kind of
sometimes.
scattered sometimes. Yeah.
Well, I think
I think this will be fun, and I'm like, no, that wasn't fun.
I mean, to be blunt, you get bored or tired of things, and you want to move on and do something different.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just personality or upbringing, but I'm like, oh, I started this, I got to finish it now.
I know.
Even if it's
Well,
stupid.
I used to be that way with books. So I'd start a book, and then I'd say, well, I have to finish it. And then it was actually after you and I got married that you're like, why do you have to finish it? Oh, yeah. So I think that it's almost like you gave me license to no, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, I've learned from Kim too. Sometimes it's okay to move on and skip, get rid of. There was a yard machine just recently that I'd been nursing and repairing and making parts for probably 25 years, and it quit the other day, and I actually threw it away in the trash. I'm not going to fix it anymore. So it's okay to move on sometimes.
Yep, that's right. Who's more likely to eat dessert for breakfast?
Oh, that would be me.
Yeah, that would be you. Dessert all day long, right?
Yeah, big stack of Belgian waffles drenched in syrup. That's dessert.
Right. But I want all the tacos and the breads and the chips and the things. So, what's the funniest thing we've caught ourselves doing as a retired couple?
Well, I don't know. I have no. Some of this has to do with just aging too, and both of us like to need to and like to watch our weight. So we have actually gotten into sharing entrees at restaurants sometimes.
That's right.
And that's a little bit of frugality too in there.
And going for the early bird. Remember when we used to go, what? How are you going to eat at 4 o'clock?
Yeah. So that's kind of.
It is funny. What's a new retirement ritual that surprised us? I don't know if we have one that surprised us.
I mean, most mornings, unless one of us has gone to Europe or something, we get up in the morning and we have an extended coffee hour
chat.
or two in
That's
the morning.
Right. That's right. I love it. It's my favorite part of retirement.
Even if I had to go back to work, I'd try to find a job where I could have it.
It didn't start until 10?
It didn't, right.
Yeah. Is there anything we said we'd never do, but now we do? Maybe it's the eating at 4 o'clock. Oh, no.
Yeah, that we'd never do. I'll never say never. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that we said we would never do.
I can't either.
But
if we could plan a dream day together, what would it look like?
A dream day together.
Yeah, day, or maybe even a date. What would it look like?
Well, I don't know. I think we've had some dream days
I
where
do too.
the weather's nice here. You
Yep.
get in the pool.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe I treat myself to beer.
Yeah.
Only one because too much carbs and calories. But
And you barbecue some steaks.
barbecue
and
some steaks.
maybe
yeah.
we start the pit out here, the fire, and where we are, there's not many street lights, so we can see the stars at night, and that's beautiful. So yeah,
How about you?
that's a dream day for
Yeah.
me too. Yeah, I think so. So I'm glad we're retired together.
Well, I'm glad we're retired together too.
What else? Is there anything else you think we should share about what makes it different for married couples in retirement? And there may not be anything. That's okay, because we can do this another time.
I can't think of anything off. I mean, we certainly have differences, and we see other married couples that have very different situations and stresses. I think it's very dependent upon their personalities, our personalities.
Right.
So,
Well, luckily, you and I don't feel like we have to fill every minute of every day. There are
Right.
some folks that we know that are like, we talk to them and they're just busy,
Right.
busy. And we're like, what are you busy doing?
if there was anything I would say that helped, maybe helped us or got us on the same page more easily, is we both did work, and I know my parents. Mom
Right.
had a couple of jobs, but pretty much she would stay at home.
Right.
And the family joke was Dad always had high blood pressure, and she didn't, and then he retired, and his blood pressure went down and hers went up. And so I think observing them, rest your souls, both of you, they're wonderful parents, but
Yeah.
I think they had a rough adjustment to,
Right.
how does the breadwinner come in and hang around the house, and
Yeah.
the housekeeper has somebody to deal with.
Underfoot all the time. That's right.
So I think
Yeah.
for that reason we both we
Yeah.
both came into not with all the same ideas and desires, but we both came into retirement with some commonality of changing our lifestyle.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think that's right. Well, and I had shared that, for me, my mom died at 31 and my dad died at 59. So I'm only a couple of years away from 59. And I think sometimes that's part of just in my mind, like make the most of the days. How do we, and that's probably why I want to do more adventures than you. Yours lived into your mom, her 80s, and your dad his 90s. And you have to live that long.
That's what I'm told.
That's right. So anyway, well, this is good. Thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right.
Anytime.
We'll do it again. And then we're going to start your channel that talks about fixing things or giving Papa Joe advice or something.
That's an
the next
idea.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. All right.
All right. I love you.
I love you more.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.